Hi everyone, welcome back to Gamers8. I can't believe we're here, teams. Sort of here, but they're in spirit. This has been an exciting day of matches so far.
Yeah, been a wild run already, of course. You know, Twisted Minds, BDS, Gen G, all finding success. Ninjas in Pajamas, a little bit to look forward to in a lower bracket later on. But a crazy day one so far, and the back half coming up now.
We're in the last group, but not the worst group. Group D, I think, has to be one of the most contested ones. We got Version1, suhhh, Team Secret versus Koi in the semifinals awaits Team Liquid and Rule 1. And I think a lot of people were worried about, a Team Liquid, they were going to get out of this. But the stars of this group, I think, have to be Version1.
Yep, quick favorite for everyone at home, obviously. You may be familiar with some if you haven't seen them a lot during RLCS. You may remember them from a previous Gamers8, but there's some good players over there on Tho, Mike Boy, and of course their new roster pickup, Hibs, as Oli obviously found a transfer. But Version1 here, probably the favorites, but you never know what you're going to get with Version1, so this should be interesting to see.
I know, like, suhhh, team from EU, you gotta say, okay, they got that EU buff, right? Everyone talks about how strong that region is. Roster came together at the start of this year. Hibs had just joined, like, when they were doing the qualifier for this, and hey, they had a surprising run. I think they ended 4th and then got themselves here. Version1 won their side of qualifying to Gamers8, and they have what we think is the roster, the perfect one for crew battles.
Ooh, we're gonna have a pause. Nobody's moving on the suhhh side. Version1 probably just gonna punt the ball around a little bit here. Okay, there we go. I was wondering. I was like, hang on.
Let it just score on us, bro. We were waving the white flag at game 1.
They were about to. They were trying, and then they just noticed that nobody was moving, and they're like, okay, never mind. We'll just bat the ball around until this gets paused. So let that issue get sorted out. But yeah, Version1, of course, when you think about the format of crew battles, a lot of good things to look forward to, of course. You know, you have a very solid ones player and Daniel, of course, and the 2v2 side also going to be good. I think whatever team comp, if they choose not to go for the most likely one lemon, I think Version1 stands a pretty good chance throughout the crew battles format.
Yeah, and when we saw Version1 in their Gamers8 qualifier, they opted for 2s every single time, went undefeated. The Beast Mode Daniel duo is what everyone is talking about. This is going to be the strongest crew battles roster we think of this group. And when it comes to the Version1 versus suhhh match, everyone is predicting this sweep, right? But when you see teams like Vitality even drop some matches and some teams aren't favored in these crew battles, you wonder, is in the very first match, right out the gates, is Version1 gonna be that strong?
Yeah, things get crazy real quick. Jorius was able to keep that 1v1 tight and ended up winning as we do get into this series proper. Version1 picking up right where they left off before the pause, still on the attack early on here versus
Looks already a strong offense, but when the opponent isn't moving, I guess it doesn't count, but got everything reset. You see the offense brewing for Version1. Good contest, though, from suhhh. They don't have a lot of space here on the field, and the clears are soft, they're high, they're catchable by someone like Daniel, who waits for the defense to step up as Version1 try to find the cracks in the armor.
Hibs, I think, the big player to watch for me, of course. Obviously, you want to see how the new roster move works out for a team when they have to find a new player. Hibs has definitely performed adequately in the past before on some teams. He's got a little bit of that solid put-away potential behind him if he's getting put into that scenario. And of course, over on that Version1 side of things, you'd finally like to see Daniel kind of realize that potential of that magician-type can opener that everybody wanted him to be.
Good saves from suhhh so far. We're able to get out of their half, and there's the shot from Com, just cutting it deep to the right, and it's just too quick to handle.
Oh, and you can see Tho trying to dish that up to Hibs. It just out of reach. Hibs not able to square it up on the nose and find the clear. Bounced right back into the middle. Com right there to pick it off. You like to see him positioned aggressively to play a miss, and he capitalizes on it.
You talk about Hibs being like your player to watch. For me, on the side of suhhh, has to be, though, longtime competitor, has been to majors, isn't a stranger to lands and high stakes competition like this, EU championship for RLCS Season X. and you know, was and hopefully still is their ones player, used to be that ones player, retired from that, wasn't successful in the ones in the Gamers8 qualifier, but obviously you boot camp for a huge tournament like this when there's $2 million on the line. There's even some teams that prioritize this over Worlds, just how crazy that prize pool was. But you see Calm, he was in the practice range. What a double tap.
I like to see Daniel just press that ball forward and force an awkward clear from the defense. And again, Calm ready to capitalize on a softer clear. Nobody able to rally in the defensive set. That layering is all kind of going all at once. And the extra defense is kind of thrown out the window, hoping to find a solid enough clear on the first go-around.
It looked like Daniel was like herding sheep, the way that the whole defense just followed him out of the net. And it looks easy for a guy like Calm to capitalize on this. It's been so much hype behind Daniel in beast mode, but you can't underestimate what Calm brings to the table. And he does great interviews too. Yeah, that too.
A lot of physicality. Obviously a solid enough striker, at least here at the start of this series. But right now, Version1, they really are kind of just camped out. You're really just seeing if suhhh can kind of get the offense rolling here. Plenty of time left in the game, down 2. It's really just making sure the defense finds a little bit more structure behind it. Secure your own boost, and all right. Find the space, throw the ball, force Version1 to spread themselves out a little bit and go from there. That's really all suhhh has got to do to get the engine going.
Yeah, winning threes for suhhh, I think, is the weak point they need to take advantage of, because are we realistically thinking that someone like Tho can beat like Daniel in ones or beast mode of Daniel and looking like the best twos? Like, you never know, because Gamers8
Jorius beats Zen, that's all I'm saying.
That's, you know, it has been wacky thus far, but I just gotta say threes would be the best mode for suhhh to take advantage of when it comes to Version1, at least quote unquote being their weakest inconsistencies we've seen out of RLCS. Version1, when it comes to Gamers8, they do look untouchable.
I have to imagine that there's also a little bit of a chip on that Version1 shoulder, right? Not being able to go to the World Championship, and they know that, okay, if we can't make that, we have to make this. So I would wager that they probably wanted to work really, really hard heading into this one to try and make the most of the appearance. So certainly a lot to work for. I guess that is also true for suhhh, though, by the same extent, because they didn't get to go to the World Championship either.
Yeah. Version1, I think, want a comeback from just missing out on majors and worlds just barely. And this is the tournament where they can have a good send-off on their year, and hey, wouldn't be too shabby of a prize pool to win.
Yeah.
I think you could wipe your tears away with the dollars after that. With 40 seconds left, you haven't seen suhhh score a single time. The defense has held strong. You know, Version1 only scored twice. The challengers from suhhh have slowed Version1 down enough, but how do they ramp up? That's a good shot. Double commit saves for Version1. suhhh keep the momentum going. The pressure has to keep up. That's a good catch from Hibbs. But beast mode, it's just not letting suhhh get through.
Yeah, that was a great try from Hibbs. You like to see that command on display there. Bring the ball under control in a very tough scenario, I will say, to keep that ball under control and try to get the offense rolling. So they managed to stop the bleeding, but in general, that's a relatively commanding Game 1 win from Version1. Really not allowing too much if they could help it, and when they did, they definitely had the pieces in place. So really nice start for Version1, to say the least. But shot spread, what, 4 plus 6 is 10, so 10-4, solidly in favor Version1. That was definitely a driver's seat game for them.
Now we go into our the choice of format being picked by suhhh. And this is where, do you want to go to ones, where usually, you know, Version1 really like their twos, that's their bread and butter? Do you pick ones, or do you want a teammate? Are twos technically maybe a little bit easier for suhhh to handle? Who knows what they're going to go for?
If I'm suhhh right here, I think I might actually go for the 1v1. Just by nature of, I think any twos combination on Version1 is likely better than any twos combination over on suhhh. So, you know, I feel like you want to flip that coin a little bit, and if you're going to have to do it, you might as well do it now rather than later. And I think there's at least a playable matchup there if you end up going Tho versus Daniel, or however they decide to split it up.
Yeah, I'm wondering what those potential is. because they faced BDS Oxygen, which was at the time Monkey Moon and Jorius, which are very, very solid ones players. I mean, you just saw how Oxygen Jorius won against Zen. So it's, though, how do you do against Daniel, who is, I would say, at that peak of one's competition too? So there's that 1v1 you thought of.
It did go for it. I like it. It's really also an opportunity, I think, because imagine Tho like crushes Daniel here, right? You can maybe capitalize on a potentially shaky mental game over on version 1.
See, Daniel obviously comes into this very confident. How would you not be? So far holding on defensively, as though patrols in the midfield, really respecting that space between him and Daniel, who has to make a quick run back, with that almost being flipped above him.
Yeah, and a lot of 1v1, it does come down very much to proper spacing, you know, positioning, respecting a lot of what the opponent can do, and you like to see Daniel turn this one in. You can see him immediately cut off the ball right here as soon as he hit this on target, because he knew maybe Tho gets a clear out to the corner, then he sees, oh, it's off the bar, and then you can react after that, because Daniel's so focused on the possession of the play rather than seeing if that first shot goes in and trying to jam it through. Because that's the real valuable part in 1v1, is possession of the ball is everything.
And Tho had a good attempt, tried to prevent the bounce off the back wall, and then just kind of went right back to Daniel either way, and you wanted that stronger clear, at least not back into possession of Daniel.
Nice.
But wow, what a flick above by Tho.
Great recognition from Tho. You can feel Daniel, he starts to go into this corner. He knows Tho doesn't have a lot of boost, so he tries to take that corner, go for a little fake challenge and see what Tho is going to do. But Tho still got the mechs. He says, you can't fake challenge me. You've just given up the net. And you love to see Tho with no boost in an awkward situation on offense find a way to convert off of his opponent's hubris. Daniel does the exact same thing right back to him, though, just a straight flick over him.
Yeah, Daniel forgives that right back. And when it comes to the ones of version 1, very solid as well, like beating everyone but Complexity. And the everyone's, you know, are they competition to someone like version 1? We're thinking about Koi, G2, Boulevard. At the time, G2 opted for Atomic, which is a very solid player. And Daniel really, I think, only was made sweat by Razebull, and it was like a 1-goal differential, I think, at that point. So Daniel was definitely one of the favorites in 1s, 2s, and that's why you look at version 1. They're the reason why they won the Gamers8 North American qualifier.
Oh boy.
And favorites to get out of this group.
Oh, he dropped it.
Oh
my
gosh. He's faking it.
So I do have to say, I love Tho's ability to just create something after flubbing the initial push. I like to see that kind of improvisational play come out in 1v1. That's part of the beauty of it. Daniel gets a cheeky challenge. Look at him manipulate the timing of this as he comes off of this flip reset. Just comes all the way down and just lets Tho hit it right into him. Beautiful stuff from Daniel.
Just Daniel is so good at just manipulating the result of the challenges in his favor every single time. Every time Suh has tried to block a shot, contest the challenge, the bounce is either gone in the back of the net or right back at Daniel, who takes that open net shot. Here comes Daniel right in front of Tho 4-1.
Tho got absolutely tied up here. He picks up a boost and thinks, ooh, maybe have to defend a flip reset, starts to cover the near post and doesn't think about the instant catch from Daniel with a quick shot off the nose into the middle of the net. Daniel pulling away pretty strongly here. But 3 minutes is a lot of time in the 1v1 game, and Tho trying to get cheeky. I actually really liked the idea. He wanted to see if he could catch Daniel overcommitting to a challenge by letting the ball bounce and just score the open net. And Daniel says, yeah, no, I just demo you, and then I score for free.
I was about to say before the demo that I was like, though, you know, he looks really good when he has space to work with, when he has time to think, when he has time to see what Daniel's cooking before he hits the pan. But Daniel is either demoing him or putting Tho against the wall, and Tho has just not been successful in these close quarters challenges. Oof. But now that Tho has space, see how he kind of catches Daniel trying to control the ball, and Tho approaches and kind of shakes that up a bit.
Oh, he might score again. He won the physical battle. You can see a little bit of saber rattling as they pushed through the middle here. Tho trying to retain possession, and Daniel just shunting him out into the middle of the pitch, denying him the side boost. And a nice easy one again for Daniel. And that very likely should be the end of the 1v1. I mean, a 5-goal comeback, 2.5 minutes, totally possible in the realm of 1v1. But Daniel has just looked in control and not really phased by too much throw is thrown at him, as that one actually got through.
Kind of playing squash with the net there as Daniel at least stopped the initial push and then knew he couldn't get the full clear and just tried to stop the rebound shot from coming in. And Though has placed these shots really high, and it's worked out from the 2 goals he's had.
Yeah, it's really great placement, I have to agree. That's definitely the idea, especially in that scenario when you can shoot to either the left or the right side of the net. And look at Tho, he's starting to change the tactics. He's just saying, look, I'm just going to come and smash the ball into your body and see if you can retain possession, because me sitting here trying to play defense against you has not been going well. So I'm just going to come at you full bore and say, now you got to beat me with speed.
Although gave so much space and then didn't get like a boost advantage or just anything out of it. So no boost and no hope as Daniel can just play with his food.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. Though only 16 there in the net. Yeah, he kept off the initial attack. He had to go and grab that little 12 pad right in front of goal, and unfortunately he knew that was never enough to make the 50. Decided to take his chances in the net. Proven dead wrong and just denied off the kickoff. Daniel cruising here in the 1v1 section. Oh gosh.
Well, the small denizer is what kept Tho in the game at the first minute or two.
Oh my
Daniel
goodness
ramps
gracious.
up. Look at that control.
That's not even fair. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to defend that. He hit the ball out towards the middle of the box, used a bunch of boost to get back to it, caught it with a flip reset, and then just turns it into the corner? Yeah, we'll see ya.
Well, the biggest thing we had about version 1 was first match of the day. How good were you gonna look? Well, the 3s they won without giving up a goal. You're looking at an 8-2 for Daniel with 90 seconds left. I'd say version 1 are setting themselves up for a sweep. We'll be going back to 3s after this, where still have a chance to bounce back. But out the gates, they needed to kind of take advantage of everyone being cold on the hands. And, you know, it's land, so the environment is different too.
Yeah, and I really thought this 1v1 might go at least a little bit better, but that's kind of the unfortunate reality of, yeah, Tho's the ones guy on their team, but as we did mention, hey, huge 50, great job. Just put the big part of the car right behind the center of the ball and just wins the physics battle right in front of the net. But that's kind of the unfortunate reality in the 1v1 world. If you kind of stop playing ones and you don't really keep up with it, you can kind of see what someone who plays it all the time can do to you.
Now it's high score time. I know 5 goals is doable against Daniel. He's putting that thing in reverse. He just reversed it to the net, I think.
Tho thought he got away with this. He's like, ha, I've bumped him, and now I get the ball. And Daniel's like, nope, I've recovered cleanly. This is easy.
Tokyo drifts in it. Now he gets the style on him. Okay, freestyle tournament now.
Easy goals for Daniel. Cruising. This... Oh, not a 10th. Oh, thank goodness.
Ooh, okay.
Huge pinch off the post, though. Stay alive. Come on, don't let him score 10 on you, buddy.
It was like 75 boost to 0. So Daniel has the speed, has the mechanics, had the space. What does he not have?
Unfortunately, not enough time to score more goals. That's the only thing he doesn't have here in this 1v1. This has been a phenomenal show from Daniel. Love to see how he's played it. You can even see Tho trying to say, maybe if I do something different on kickoff, we can make something work. But huge 1v1 show, and maybe the 2v2 would have been the way to go. I don't know.
There's finally some speed from Tho.
Gracious.
And what the pinch in by Daniel into the upper 90. Just when you thought Tho had some potential, was starting to use some aerials, here's Daniel slamming it in.
Oh, just made the car huge again, and kind of showing Tho like, yeah, you 50'd me out in front of my own net. I'm just gonna absolutely dunk one in your face right here at the end of this one. This has been a slaughter. There is no other word for it here in the 1v1. This was you found out what happens when you think you can hang with Daniel right there if you're Tho.
Just The possession of the ball and having advantage on boost the whole time, though, says, GG's, man. You really got me. 11-3. And we'll now just talk to the team about the threes match coming up. But wow, what a scoreline for Daniel. Version1 are not playing around.
Yeah, huge show up for Version1 there in game 2. So you love to see that. That was good. Up 2-0, looking clean, looking solid. Not even really fussed here in between games. They're just like, let's go play another threes game, man. Come on.
Yeah. Let's do it. And the smiles, you're not worried about threes at all. I know Version1, you wonder what the RLCS year could have been if they played like this all the time. They're the favorites in this group, and in the next, I know that this is a long times away, but Team Liquid are on the other side of this win, whoever comes out of it, and that's the big match of whoever comes out of this and how Team Liquid have looked consistently.
That would be a real test. I have to agree. Liquid consistently seems to struggle for some reason when they get into the LAN environment against just about any team, especially North American ones. So we'll see how that plays out. 2v2, 1v1. Not really sure how that one's going to mix up in that scenario either. They do have a Toe who's a very capable ones player, but back to the 3v3 here for Version1 and suhhh. Try to regain a little bit here.
Trying to regain. Had a good warm-up in threes. suhhh held up a defense. Kept Version1. Stopped a lot of shots. Kept them mostly at bay. But Version1, just the way they corralled suhhh and just manipulated their position. Now you see Version1 going for bumps to physically move them out of the way. And suhhh couldn't stop someone like Calm from cleaning up, you know, what Daniel was setting up a lot of the time. Version1 looked clean in the first threes match. For now, first minute goes by with a lot of boost for Version1. To just see as soon as they have a lane to open up, they can just run this through and get past suhhh. And suhhh have to be ready for the counterattack. But the shots coming in from suhhh have been stopped. And what I like about suhhh is they have that midfield control to kind of keep that momentum going. That's something I really did appreciate by it. And Hibbs was that third man, but they have good rotations right now. It's not the most threatening shots being produced, but seeing if you can force any mistake out of Version1. There's a, you know, a couple double commits here and there from Version1, but they still find their way out. Daniel with the setup, Hibbs with the deny. This goes all the way downfield. It's lined up for the nets, and Version1 can't stop it. suhhh will take the first goal, and that's the first one, at least when it comes to threes, in the whole series. Just coming back to Version1, full committing to that, not expecting that to go all the way down, and achieves. I mean, suhhh get on the board.
That's crazy from suhhh. Great start to game 3. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. You've kind of regained a little bit of confidence here after having to watch Though kind of get beat up a little bit in the 1v1. But a good regain to start it off, and now you just want to see that offense continue to thrive.
Yes, we're able to negate that counterattack from Version1 that looked deadly after that Daniel setup. They've watched it, but Beast Mode makes it happen pretty much all by himself.
Life isn't fair. Calm with a massive 50. Beast Mode on that tight support plus demo. Get a few bounces off the crossbar and post and stuff and do your thing, man. That was huge.
What I like about Version1 is when they go for challenges and setups, the follow-up from their team is so quick. suhhh have just had that one deny from Daniel. They've been keeping their eyes on him after what he was able to produce in game 1, but just didn't know what Beast Mode was up to. That bounce was too fast for suhhh to keep up with.
Cheeky bump as well. Daniel, you can see, obviously just pressuring, forces the defender to take a line, and there he is. Calm the demolition machine. He doesn't get credited with one, but that one counts in our hearts. That's a demo assist right there.
Very physical, kind of bully Version1. it didn't feel like they needed to use that much of it in game one. We're seeing demos, we're seeing very critical bumps by version 1. Last 2 goals have come from a bump and or a demo. Version 1 will physically remove this defense if they have to, but how can suhh tie this up? It's their chance right here.
Wow.
It's a little too far behind before version 1 catch it. Yes, suhh get a demo, but they need to get this ball back.
No idea how Calm was able to keep that one out of the net. Second chance here. Daniel stranded with no boost in the corner. Have to wonder if he thought he had time there. Yeah, you can see him stop and go in the corner a little bit. Come on, is it going to spawn? Is my teammate going to win the ball? And I've given up the goal.
The third man back from suhh has been huge for them. The way that they're able to kill, like I've mentioned already, keep that momentum up. Just when you think version 1 are going to clear, they bring it right back. They bait version 1 to feel comfortable to get out of their net. And that's where suhh take these shots. Where version 1 couldn't prevent that cross-field shot from suhh. Now we're tied 2-2 going into the half, and here's the speed of version 1's offense.
Much better showing from suhh in game 3. We like to see the offense actually going and getting some tangible results over on the version 1 side of the pitch. Daniel. Hello? Do you score it? No, you don't have the boost. Okay.
Had me going there. 90 seconds. Where suhh can keep themselves alive in the series. The best showing they've had so far. A lot of people predicted this to be a sweep. And I wouldn't doubt that with how good version 1 have looked at the beginning. How Daniel swung for the fences, got a home run. suhh, Breeze being at least their best game mode. Now with the demo, this opens things up. But suhh need maybe to find these passes just to get some quicker plays going to catch version 1 off guard. As Mike at least is able to push this forward. The waits in the midfield, reading what Kama's doing. suhh collapse on it. And a good pop-up just to see if they can navigate this towards the net. But version 1 are just that much quicker.
Yeah, it just feels like version 1 kind of ready, willing, and able to react to whatever suhh does. And suhh, it feels like they're just driving at the ball as fast as they can, hitting it, you know, with kind of that first option, even if it's not the best touch in the world, just to try and throw off version 1. And version 1's just not really getting caught off guarded by any of that, really.
Yeah. And it feels like even when you go for these random challenges, as you're saying from suhh, they don't have the boost to kind of quickly reposition and have that immediate follow-up that they so desperately need. The way that version 1 have the resources and the situational awareness to position to get ready for that second shot. We go into OT to determine our version 1 going to the semifinals against Team Liquid, or suhh gonna force a 2v2.
Oh, with the bomb. Can he get back to it? Yes! Well, just because it doesn't really feel like it's the greatest strat just to drive with the ball, every now and again it keeps you in a game. They get to an overtime, and boy, did they nail that kickoff. Straight out to the side, continued through to the version 1 half, cut back and demoed the man on the ball, and then a nice open net. And at that point, you just have to say, okay, don't miss. And they nailed it.
What a quick OT. Didn't even have time to kind of tease you guys how this is going to go down. Can suhh come back? Our version 1 going to be perfect? Well, no perfect, but 2s is where I think version 1 could be perfect. That is the most fearsome game mode we're worried about. But suhh, with how good they looked at 3s, you just never know how the series is going to go.
Yeah, I think the 2v2 will go a little bit better than the 1v1 did. I think a little bit of extra stability of having that added layer of defense is quite invaluable. So it will be a little bit more of a, I think, what kind of offense are you able to bring to the table here? And I think you do have to give the edge to version 1 in that environment. Of course, very likely the Daniel Beast Mode combo here versus the Tho and Mike Boy. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Tho to consistently get up there and take the ball off of whoever's carrying it, be it Daniel or Beast Mode, and then it's going to have to be a very difficult positional game for Mike Boy. He's going to have to be spot on if he wants to try and keep that possession, I think.
And just an update on the A stream while we wait for our threes match to kick up again. Or sorry, our twos match to kick up again. G2 and Optic are facing off on the main stream. G2 won the threes, but only by 1 goal. And they're heading into 1v1s with Atomic versus AJ. But let's zoom back in on this twos. Like that giggle from me. We'll see what that's got cooked up. But hey, Version1 already with pressure.
Not too surprised, but Mike Boy, great dribble and trying to freeze Daniel. Look at him go.
Slap that boy around. You ain't called Mike for no reason. I would say Mike is like that bully from high school. Look at him just slam it to Daniel. Remember me? It's Mike from high school. Slaps him around.
That was huge. That was big Mike energy right there. Oh, did they get it right back? Oh, they do.
What a shot.
The perfect kickoff from Version1. Look at Beast Mode just draw this ball back. Gets on the outside of the ball. Lets Tho try and hit it into him. It just skims perfectly on the right line to Daniel. They catch Suh cheating and straight into that top left corner.
It just reminds me of that meme of that one gamer who's like sweating and trying like super hard to get something done. That's like demoing, bumping, like doing all this stuff. And then there's Daniel singing, vibing, and just perfect placement to the upper 90 right off kickoff. So 1-1 with Version1 on match point. And Suh forced the game 5 though. It'll take all the effort in the world. And there is Mike Boy just trying to slam it in, but Daniel tried to back it up but didn't have enough spacing. And Suh just overwhelmed them.
Really great 50 from Mike Boy here on the line. Just put it out to the open space, and Daniel, he honestly, he didn't do anything wrong there. He was just rotating into the back part of the net that was undefended, and unfortunately, as the ball came across, he just didn't have a good line, and Tho just had a lot more momentum behind him, just powered it right through.
We have a game on our hands, everybody. Suh with an advantage in twos.
For now.
To be one of the crazier upsets compared to, you know, of course, the Zen upset when it came to ones. But can they hold on to this? The way Suh have just been out-pressuring Version1 thus far has been great to see. The bounce back. Here is Tho just trying to curve the bullet below. And the shot, the follow-up from Mike puts Suh 3-1.
There does come a time when speed is not necessarily your greatest asset. There's been a few challenges where Version1 have been up early to a ball, definitely beating Suh, but sometimes that speed they start getting taken advantage of, as you see on that last goal. Just a little bit of a fake from Tho, delays the touch, lets Beast Mode go by rather than trying to win it straight through. And that's a comfortable 2-0 lead, and in 2v2, 2 goals feels a lot more valuable than it does in 1v1, because now you know you don't have to do anything too crazy. Kind of just make sure, I kind of like the imagery of drawing kind of like a stick between you and your other player. And you kind of just always keep that stick between the ball and the net, and it's really hard for anybody to score.
Yeah, leave enough room for the Holy Spirit between the two of you. As Version1 haven't had that space whatsoever, but now they're trying to do the same thing. But Daniel didn't have the follow-up. He's too far forward. Has enough boost to kind of reposition and not let Suh just run through and get a free 4th goal. That would start to get out of hand. But here comes Mike Boy, has the reset. Couldn't get the bounce. Couldn't receive the bounce after Beast Mode redirects it away. Now Suh have been really good at stopping Version1.
Yep, and all they have to do is just keep a decent spread of the field. All they have to do is cover clears. And you have to force Version1 to be the mechanical wizards that they think they are to beat you. And that little bump might do it. In 3v3, it could have potentially scored with an extra person, but in 2v2, Tho on the counterattack and almost able to jam in a 4th.
Wow. 2 minutes left. Version1 is dry when it comes to goals. This is landing in the backboard, and Beast Mode protects it well, connecting better too with Daniel. But Suh are good at just directing this away from Daniel's hands to the opposite side of the field. It's Version1 regain possession. Good flick above that defender that challenges, and Beast Mode misses the touch, but the challenge goes back to Version1. Beast Mode,
he's not ready.
But the ground's a little too high. He has control, and he's supposed to go and look for the better shot.
how in the world did they not score right there? Daniel, that was such a great setup with the misdirection and just not communicated clearly. Beast Mode was in position, but he just didn't think it was happening. And now they do not give up a fourth goal. But boy, did they not get themselves closer either. But I do like to see Version 1 always finding a way to take the space. And again, there's that nice deep rotation from suhhh, keeping Version 1 out of the back of the net.
Well, Scoob, it's been just quite a mystery if suhhh can get away with this 3-1. These meddling kids of Mike Boy and Though are really doing it, but Daniel keeps Version 1 in the game, only down by 1 with 48 seconds.
I have to say, this one has to be in. If that's not in, I don't know what we're doing here. So nice recovery from Version 1. 48 seconds. It's a decent chunk of time, but not a lot. But with how much possession Version 1 have been able to find in the 2v2 game, give them the pretty decent odds. I'll give them about 40% to find the equalizer.
The Chiefs stats of the match. Really did like your breakdowns at Worlds. You brought the stats. I like this one. Is it imaginary though? 31 seconds. I think Version 1, they gave themselves hope, a pat on the back. Daniel bringing breathing sides of life for Version 1. Beast Mode. At least doesn't go for the challenge, but goes for the ball. Now passing this to Daniel, sees the approach of suhhh. This goes towards the net. Thankful that post is there in the way. But now
with the pass?
The last play for Version 1 to flip the save by Mike Boy.
Wait.
Here's Version 1 with the last play.
Fake.
And they go for the tie, or this is suhhh sending this to game 5.
Beast Mode, you gotta cover with the bump.
Yep. Beast Mode does it at the 0-second mark.
Oh, you could feel it. You could see Daniel figuring out his options there on the 2v2. He saw all the coverage in the net and says, then I won't go at the net. And he just hits it off the wall, spikes it up to the ceiling with the defender's car and says, all right, Beast Mode, it's on you. I'm gonna find a demo. V1, find a way.
But suhhh won the OT last time. It was in 3s. Beast Mode goes for the bump, misses it. So suhhh lived to tell the tale. Last OT lasted, what, like 6 seconds? Incredibly cursed. Suhhh liked to play quick and unpredictable, and that's an open net. And you won't be upsetting Version 1 today. Not in 2s, and not now. Version 1 move on to the semifinals.
Great show from Version 1 to recover in a 2v2. That's got to shake the confidence a little bit, obviously. You know, with the win, you could be like, cool, we get the nice 3-1 dub. The things got away from us every now and again in the 1v1, but they recovered quite nicely here. So tough break. You kind of ran into the brick wall. You thought you might have had him in the 2v2, but couldn't keep him out of the net forever. Version 1, huge start to the series. What can you say? That was great.
Hey, and commendable from suhhh as well. A lot of people predicted the sweep against suhhh, and look, we almost had a game 5. We almost had a game 5 there. It went to 2 OTs, but yeah, Version 1 will be moving on to the semis, as I said, to face Team Liquid. That's got to be the most anticipated match of the group, I gotta say. And then suhhh will be dropping down to the lower bracket. And up next, we're going to have Team Secret versus Koi. But of course, we have to have an interview with Version 1, see how things are going. We're getting that set up. But hey, the Chiefs Gamers8 has been a bucket of surprises.
Yeah, good start for us as far as I'm concerned. You got to answer some questions about Version 1. You know, how are they going to look? They came out pretty strong. Obviously, what can you do? Sometimes you get taken to task in an overtime off a cheeky kickoff goal. But that's the way she goes sometimes. But here's the highlights. Game 1, oh boy, absolute masterclass. If you guys think you know how to play 3v3, this is how you play 3v3. And then the exact same scenario for the 1v1, of course. That was, so nice try, my guy. Maybe in a different series.
Yeah, like 11-3, quite a stomp, but I'll throw a bone to suhhh, or to Though. I think the placement of these high shots were difficult to block sometimes for Daniel. So he got some on the board. I think that's difficult. You got this Tokyo jerk, put that thing in reverse goal by Version 1. That was sick.
And then we got the second 3v3. This time, so we're able to come back through. They got a lot more aggressive in that game 3. You like to see him figure out a way in that beautiful kickoff strat. Out to the side, have Mike Boy cheating up, find the demo, and Daniel's just not in time. But it all came down to the 2v2, and you thought for a second maybe we were going to 5. Suh out to the early lead, but then the mechs came alive for version 1, Lemon.
Yeah, and then we went to the 0-second goal. We knew this series was going to produce entertainment. This went to OT, where then Suh just quickly ended it all. I was a little bit off with my 6 seconds. It was a bit more than that, but felt very quick because we didn't even have time to kind of hype it up a bit before it felt like Suh just caught us all off guard with what they were able to do today.
Yeah, great start for Suh. So we'll see what they can do. That's all right. That's all right. It was a good show from them. I'm curious to see how much further they can go. But that wraps up our first series, Lemon. So when we come back from Gamers8, or from break, I suppose, we'll continue with Gamers8 here in Group D. We will see Team Secret versus Koi. Stick around.